Hello my loves, and welcome back to day 16 of the 111 day mind, body, soul quest. I am Kylie Nell. Hi, if you're new here, I am a business, life and healing mentor, as well as an energy, trauma-informed energy healer and rebellious soul of the internet. I've made it my mission in this lifetime to help women heal and step back into their divine sovereign power to be conscious creators of their own realities. And hi, my love. Welcome to day 16 of this beautiful 111 day quest. This is a personal quest that I've started for myself for really two reasons. One is to become the best possible version of me that I can before 30. I'm turning 30 next year in February. And so I just felt called to do like this 111 day quest as an alchemization and integration of life and everything that I've experienced and gone through in my 20s. And then very much so also to find a divine balance between the sacred masculine and the feminine, and to be able to really step into finding that sweet spot of keeping the momentum towards my goals, but and also keeping the momentum towards becoming the woman I want to be and creating the life I want to create. And today I really want to share something so interesting with you, because this came through for me this morning as I was in my run. It's been sitting with me all day or all morning. Definitely going to shift the energy today. But I wanted to share it with you because I feel like it's such an important marker. And I think it's quite beautiful that it arrived on day 16. We're kind of past the two-way mark. We're finding our rhythm and doing things. And it's really along the lines and along the quest of, are you able to hold the space in the in-between? So you've heard me speaking about the void before in this like 111 day challenge. I'm not sure on what specific day I spoke about it, but I remember speaking about the void. And the void is really this in-between space of like, you're not really where you are anymore, and you know you've changed from that. Like, I know I'm definitely not the same woman I was at the start of this 111 day journey, but I also know I'm definitely not where I want to be. Like, I'm in this weird in-between period. It's almost like that period before like a caterpillar transitions into a butterfly, and there's like this weird in-between period. And that transition of actually shedding like that like shell is hard, and it's confronting, and it's not easy. And so my question to you today is like, how are you holding yourself in this in-between period? Like, how are you really holding yourself and your energy in this in-between period? And are you actually holding yourself to the highest degree? And the reason why I ask this is because what often happens is, as we're busy transitioning from letting go of old patterns and habits, healing, letting go of old trauma responses, and stepping into a higher self, there's this knee-jerk reaction that happens in between. And this knee-jerk reaction is where, on a conscious level, you know you've changed, you know you've shifted. Perhaps your dreams have changed, your goals have changed, perhaps your values have shifted. Like, you have changed consciously as a woman, and you know you're not the same anymore, and you're on this trajectory towards change. But, and also on a subconscious level, in a deeper sense, there's still old patterns that are running. And they suddenly like manifest in moments that come out like knee-jerk reactions. You might suddenly be super irritated and angry for no reason. You might wake up and suddenly feel like down. You may find that you have old invasive thoughts just start to pop out of nowhere. Like, things just come up without a rhyme and reason. And it's in those moments where we really need to catch ourselves and ask ourselves, how am I holding myself within this moment? How am I holding myself within this moment? And is how I'm holding myself, is this congruent to the direction I want to move in, to like the version of me I'm allowing myself to metamorphosize in? Am I giving myself the permission to hold myself with that regard? And so it is within these moments when we find these knee-jerk reactions come up that if we don't actually face them head on, that we then slip into old ways, that we allow old patterns of behaviors, we strengthened our old belief systems, we allow those old neural pathways to strengthen in those moments unless we actively shift them. So to give you a little bit of context to this, it was so interesting. Last night I had a very strange dream, and it was a dream. I was like almost like a group of friends when I was, not even friends, but a group of people when I was in high school. They used to bully and tease me a lot, and it was quite a bad situation later on in my life, where only later I recognized that there was a date rape situation involved as well. It was one night, one New Year's. I don't remember much what happened, but I just remember being in and out of consciousness when things happened. And I realized in that moment, and the reason why I share it so transparently is because I've realized that firstly, we don't speak enough about these things as women. We don't speak enough about these situations when things happen without our consent. And there's so much shame involved, and there's so much shame around who are you as this person. And I just want to like share that here. If you've ever been through that experience, like my love, it is so important to be able to deal with it, to bring it to the surface, but and also like to be able to just speak about it openly and not have it hang around or on you as this cloud of shame. Like as I'm speaking of this, I can feel like these tears bubbling within me, because I can feel this really has caused a lot of pain within my body. And it's something that literally happened I think it was 6 years ago now. Yeah, it was 6 years ago. And I've just completely like, on one hand, like dissociated from it and never fully dealt with it. And I had this dream of this person, and it was so interesting that in this dream, I was like putting things down on the table that represent who I am right now. Like I put plants down and all these things, and I was more me than I am when I was back then. And they were just laughing and like teasing and bullying me. And it just like evoked such an old wound within me. And when I woke up this morning, I suddenly woke up with similar feelings that I had so many years ago. Feelings of dissociations, feeling of irritation, old limiting beliefs come up. Like I could just feel this immense anger within me. And it's so funny, when I went for a run this morning, like that transpired into part of my run, where there were moments when I just wanted to stop, and I was like, what is the point of going? And I was like, where is this coming from? Like, this is not you. Like, this is not who you are anymore. And so it really made me realize that it's in these moments, like throughout all the healing I've been doing in the inner work, and really allowing myself to unapologetically transition into this woman I want to be, it was so interesting to realize that these moments came up, these micro moments within my life came up. But even though those micro moments came up, like they left this macro effect. They left this macro effect of feeling the emotions, feeling the intensity, feeling the anger, feeling the frustration. And it was just in this moment where I could just sit and be like, am I going to allow this to dictate my reality? Am I going to allow these emotions to remain dormant within my system? Am I going to allow these emotions to stick? Or am I going to process them? Because clearly they've come up to be processed and resolved. Clearly they've come up for a reason. And so I think this is quite an interesting topic to bring up hand, because as you're going through this process, as you're going through this change of releasing all the old and stepping into the new, there's gonna be this in-between period where I call it the void. You're not where you once were, but you're not exactly where you want to be. You're in this buffer period in between, but it's how you hold yourself in this buffer period. This buffer period is one of the most important periods yet, because it's in this buffer period where things will come up that need to be shifted. Things will come up that have been laying dormant. It's almost like you're giving the space for all the dormancy to come to the surface, to erupt and actually make themselves known and be like, hey, this is what's been coming up. Hey, you haven't been fully dealing with this. Hey, this is what needs to shift. And it's in those moments where you can either stay in that feeling and stay in that familiarity and be like, okay, am I going to allow this emotion to dictate how I feel? Am I going to allow this to slip me back into old patterns and ways? Or am I actually just going to completely shift this and sit with it and work through it and be like, well, just because you've come up doesn't mean that you're changing the momentum towards my goals. So I'm gonna take a sip here. And I think that is so important, is realizing that when these things come up during your void period, it's not to say that they are changing the momentum towards your goals. It's not to say that you suddenly aren't on track anymore, or that you've done something wrong, or that in your sleep something just shifted in your reality and something happened outside of your control. These are always old trauma responses that come up for us of something threatened my safety. And it's realizing that that feeling of threat is simply existing because right now things are coming to the surface that need to be shifted. Things are coming to the surface that need to be healed. Things are coming to the surface that don't serve this next level version of you. And so I invite you to really sit with it, because this is the period where we often give into self-sabotage. This is the period where we start to take away our power, and we allow ourselves to slip into old habits. We allow old narratives to take the forefront, and we allow things to move beyond, I don't want to say our control, because do we ever have control over anything? No. But move beyond our level of like momentum is what I want to say. That level where you're just like, I know what I'm doing, I'm putting in the work, I feel like things are moving, like I can see I'm moving forward. And it's that moment when we have this handbrake come up and we're like, holy shit. And when that handbrake comes up, I invite you in this period of the void to ask yourself, what is being called for me to release? What is coming up in my system, within my surface, within my vortex, for me to work through? What needs my attention right now? Knowing that this doesn't have to define my reality in any way, shape, or form, but definitely that this is something that I need to bring to the surface to heal and to release and to alchemize so I can step into my next highest self. And with that, my loves, thank you for joining me for another episode. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.